What's going on, YouTube fam? Wanted to do a quick review of the Timex Marlin Reissue. This guy is a reissue of a classic timepiece from Timex that was released back in the 1960s. It is it's a smaller watch. It's a dress piece, 34 millimeters. And I put it on this brown alligator strap. The strap that it came with, the stock strap, is this black lizard-ish, crocodile-ish kind of strap. Oh, and quick wrist check. I'm rocking my Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. I did a review on this watch. Been rocking it for a few months now, a couple months actually, since my birthday. So feel free to check out my review on this watch as well. I've really enjoyed wearing this so far. So as much flack or whatever that Tag sometimes receives from the watch enthusiast community, I've really loved this piece, and it's been a pleasure to wear. So, anyways, getting back to the Timex Reissue. 34 millimeters. It's a dress watch. As you can see, it has this amazing champagne dial. Just looks really cool. Plays with the light really well. You can see these Arabic numerals on the even hour numbers: 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then it's about 34 millimeters in diameter. I think about 31 or more lug tip to lug tip. And then you get this, here's the, what's inscribed in the back: Timex, water resistant 30 meters, stainless steel case. Now, I think the original Timex Marlin, when it came out in the 1960s, was a brass case. So it's cool to see that this is a stainless steel, all that, the case is updated. It's a hand wind movement. It has a circa 2017 here, which indicates that it's kind of an indication that this isn't the original 1960s version. This is, you can see the original sticker still on here. The movement, I believe, what I've been hearing is a seagull or a similar Chinese hand-wound movement. And that does get some flack occasionally from the watch community, but what I've discovered is that this movement, and what I've read about it, is that it's actually very reliable. It was a good, solid hand-wound movement that Timex chose for this piece. It gets about, give or take, 10 plus or minus 10 to plus or minus 30 seconds every day. I've experienced about 10 plus or minus 10, maybe a little less. So far it's fared pretty well for me. And then the strap itself, the original strap that it came on, was made in China as well. Timex, they're focusing on sort of bringing back these original designs. It's a lot of hardcore Timex fans or watch fans would like to see an all-American made Timex in the future, or a mechanical Timex in the future. I know they have their Marlin automatic reissue, which runs like a Seiko or a Citizen movement, or a Miyota movement. And then they have that American Documents watch, which runs, it's like a Swiss quartz movement. So that watch is a step in the right direction in terms of being American sourced and so forth. But I think a lot of diehard fans would like to see some kind of in-house or American sourced mechanical movement from Timex in the future. But for the time being, you can't complain with this watch. It's really a solid piece, especially coming from a company that has, for the past 20 or 30 years released, exclusive quartz pieces, whether it's the Iron Man, whether it's, a bunch of other quartz watches with the Indiglo function. This is their first true mechanical release in a few decades, which is awesome to see. And they really, hit it on the hammer with this one. They stayed true to the original. They didn't alter the dimensions. They kept it that 34 millimeter case size, which, it's small by modern standards, but back in the 60s, that was the norm. And I think it's really cool that they recall sort of a simpler time when things weren't all gaudy and flashy and unnecessarily large. Says the guy who's rocking the 43 millimeter Aqua Racer. I still, each watch that I own, I find that I have a different kind of sentiment, a different feeling with every timepiece that I wear. With the Aqua Racer, obviously it feels a lot more macho, it stands out a lot more, it's sportier, people are gonna notice it grabs attention. But with the Timex, you get something that's very understated, something where I've actually found that people actually tend to pay more attention to smaller timepieces nowadays as the watch trend. Watches are starting to trend smaller. They'll actually, kind of take I've seen people kind of do a double take and actually look a little bit closer. And what is that? It's because it doesn't stand out as much. You kind of have to lean in a little closer to see what it is, and that's sort of the beauty of that, the understated size, the understated design, and it's just a very elegant looking watch as well. So let me show you the box. This is the box that it came in. I actually bought this watch used, pre-owned on eBay, for half the price of what it's retailing for. So snagged a really good deal on this guy, and came in pretty good, pretty solid condition actually. There were a couple of hairline scratches on the acrylic domed crystal, which is also a beautiful touch, as you can see. But I used this compound called Polywatch. It's available on Amazon for like $10. You dabble some on the case or the crystal. You take a little cotton swab and you wipe, press, give it a little moderate pressure and wipe it down for a couple minutes, and it removes a lot of scratches from almost virtually all scratches. In my experience, I've also had an actual vintage Timex piece where it removes. It came in heavily scratched, and the Polywatch pretty much took care of most of it. So that's a really great product for if you own a timepiece that has an acrylic watch crystal on it. So a lot of people gripe about the acrylic, on watches like the Speedmaster, but honestly, that if you rock out the Polywatch, you'll have no problems at all. So, anyways, the box that it comes with is this kind of slim jewelry style box. It almost looks like a neck. You open it up and a necklace or some similar jewelry inside. But it's a watch box, and it's true to the original. I think the original, from what I've heard and read, the original watch box had this same shape and design as well. So inside you'll see the text. Timex Marlin's got that vintage kind of font, the gentleman standard then and now. I love the way that this is worded. The reissue of a 1960s timepiece pairs the purity, precision, and pleasure of a hand-wound mechanical movement with the timeless sophistication of a sleek style. So just really classy wording, really hypes up this watch, not in a bad way, just gets you really excited for it. This is the original strap that it came on. Very nice, actually pretty decent strap. It's a genuine leather in a sort of a lizard pattern, and I think this was very similar to the style of the strap that the very first Marlin came in back in the 60s. So I decided to swap it out. I wanted to kind of preserve the strap a little bit in case I decide to resell it someday, or I also just happened to have the strap laying around, and I felt that it complemented the warm tones of the dial color very well. The buckle is actually gold, and as you can see, the case is silver, so that doesn't match up perfectly, but honestly, it's not a huge deal. I actually ordered another brown, sort of like a more contemporary brown leather strap for this watch as well, and it should be here in a couple days, so I'm excited to try that one out. What more is there to say about this watch, guys? It's honestly really solid. It wears extremely well on the wrist. I'll pop it on the wrist, give you guys a wrist shot here in a second. No lume or anything like that. It's just a classic dress watch. In my opinion, the lume actually kind of dilutes the look of a lot of dress watches. I like the fact that they just stuck with this, these black hands and these black hour markers and indices. Very nice contrast. The champagne dial just never ceases to amaze me. And this did come out in a blacked out version as well, with the black dial and lighter text. But to me, this is the one to get. I mean, honestly, just the way that it looks, the way that it plays with the light, the classic styling. I don't think there was in the 60s, I don't believe there was a blacked out version. So this is more true to the original, but then again, it's it comes down to personal preference. So anyways, let me go ahead and just real quick pop this on the wrist, take off my tag here, pop this guy on the wrist, and I have about a 7¼ inch wrist. One sec, let me move this off camera for a sec so I can situate myself. And there it is on wrist, guys. To me, it looks awesome. I'm the type of guy where I'm so into watches where, different watches just, as I mentioned earlier, have totally different vibes to them. This one is just, it's subdued, it's low key. Obviously, it's very thin and fits under a shirt cuff extremely well. I would argue that it dresses up or down. You could wear this in a casual setting. You could rock this out at work. It's just a very universal, awesome looking watch. Nothing but good things to say about this. Now, the reason why a lot of people go with this watch, just to kind of close this video off, because I know it is running a little long. A lot of vintage pieces out there, they might not be the most reliable. They don't have documented servicing and things like that. So this can kind of scratch that itch, that vintage watch itch, without that uncertainty. And then it has the styling of an awesome watch at what I think is a very reasonable price point. You got vintage Omegas going for a couple $1,000s, and I'm not comparing this to an Omega by any means, but it definitely plays its part in satisfying the vintage watch sort of the thirst or the craving for vintage watch. So anyways, guys, sorry the video ran a little long. I just wanted to share some initial thoughts on this timepiece. I've been eyeing it for some time now, so I'm really happy that I finally picked it up, and love this watch. Highly recommend it. Try to buy it used if you can. I saved a bunch of money on this, obviously, but at $200, it is a little steep, but I do believe that you get a fairly quality and classy looking timepiece for what you pay for. And just real quick, I'll show you guys the winding. I think I actually have it fully wound. So, but to power the watch, you wind it in this direction. You turn the crown, and I think the power reserve is up to 40 hours. That's what I've read. Don't quote me on that. So far, I've had this bad boy fully wound, and it's served me really well so far. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Leave any comments or questions down below, and please make sure to hit a like and subscribe for future content. Leave me some comments on what other watches you'd like to see on this channel. I'm a total amateur, but I'm trying to see if I can, you know, keep you guys entertained. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one. Take care.